Good morning. First, I would like to thank Esri Singapore for this opportunity to share how the National Parks Board of Singapore, or NParks, has leveraged on technology to help us manage parks and greenery amidst the global pandemic. This is the outline of my presentation today. I'll first set the context and talk briefly about the timeline of how the COVID-19 situation has developed in Singapore and how it has impacted us as well as the challenges faced by NParks. I'll then share our response to the situation, focusing in particular on how NParks has leveraged on technology to overcome these challenges. Finally, I'll share our plans to shape our future workforce and workplace with consideration of how to maintain a safe work environment in view of COVID-19. In March this year, our new vision for Singapore was announced at the Committee of Supply debate in Parliament. Building on the successes of greening Singapore for over more than 5 decades, we ambition to develop Singapore into a city in nature by restoring nature back in the city for livability, sustainability, and well-being of all residents. We seek to do this by applying nature-based solutions towards achieving climate, ecological, and social resilience. Many of the solutions to the challenges that Singapore and the world face may lie in nature, and our city in nature vision will be enduring beyond this global pandemic. Here's a timeline of how events unfolded in Singapore. This is especially relevant for those of you in the audience who are not from Singapore. On 7 April, the circuit breaker was imposed where all non-essential services such as retail outlets and sport facilities were closed. Parks and gardens remain open, with certain facilities such as playground, fitness corners, and shelters closed to allow safe distancing. 2 weeks later, the measures were further tightened with the closure of car parks and F&B outlets at parks. Members of the park public were encouraged to only exercise in parks within their neighborhood. The circuit breaker has since been lifted on 1st June with the opening of playgrounds, fitness corners, and shelters. But patrols in parks and gardens to enforce safe distancing measures, particularly during weekends, have since intensified. In implementing safe distancing measures in our parks, we have had to respond quickly to the evolving situation. While the majority of park visitors are compliant with the safe distancing measures, there's a small segment which ignores these measures or even blatantly flout the regulations. This challenge is amplified by the large areas of coverage. We manage more than 350 parks and gardens all over Singapore. Our staff have had to close off areas within parks on short notice to reduce crowdedness at these areas. When the area becomes overcrowded, safe distancing could not be observed. As the peaks of visitorship to our parks occur during weekends, our staff have had to perform weekend duties on a sustained basis. These duties are over and above their other routine activities to manage and maintain the parks. In addition, staff have had to attend to critical greenery and park maintenance needs that with severely reduced landscape workforce due to the outbreak of infections at the workers' dormitory. Finally, we also face the challenge of providing a safe work environment for our staff who have had to carry out their duties at the front line. We've had to adapt our response along the way and in alignment with other agencies carrying out safe distancing enforcement in other public spaces. We deploy a large number of our staff to patrol gardens and parks and nature reserves and augment this with volunteers as well as temp staff. I'm glad to note that despite the challenges, the crisis situation has brought out the best in our people and agencies as seen in the can-do and will-do collaborative spirit. I'll next talk about how we use technology to respond to the COVID-19 challenges. For the past 5 to 7 years, NParks has been adopting technology and implementing digitization initiatives covering the full range of our work, from tree management, park management, nature conservation and biodiversity management, to community engagement and industry development. The impetus is to strengthen the science behind our work, enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of our operations, and improve public engagement. Central to this plan is the development of a platform called Maven 2, which is an extension of the earlier common geospatial platform, Maven, that we have built up over the past 5 years. Because of prior digitization efforts, when COVID-19 hit Singapore, we were able to quickly adapt one of our apps into what we call the Safe Distance at Parks apps. The app essentially informs public of the visitorship at the various hotspots in our gardens and parks, so that the public can stay away when a particular site becomes too crowded. The app draws real-time inputs from all our officers on the ground as well as from CCTVs and aerial drones. It also allows visitors to find parks near them where they can exercise. To augment or replace the physical deployment of staff on the ground, we use CCTVs extensively for the surveillance and monitoring of hotspots in our gardens and parks. Video analytics are used for people counting to ascertain the crowdedness of these sites. This slide shows the various methods used for people counting. We also use video analytics to monitor car park usage. This is relevant for car parks without gantries. Through video analytics, we also monitor the adherence to safe distancing from CCTV images. On the slide, the red circles denote instances where safe distance was not observed. Our officers fly aerial drones to monitor crowd level for areas that are challenging to obtain ground observation quickly. The video footage captured is streamed on the fly to a back-end analytics system to derive visitor counts. The various inputs from CCTVs, drones, and car park management systems are put together to automatically update the visitorship levels on the Safe Distance at Parks portal. We also developed an internal portal where staff could view the various footages that are captured from them to take appropriate actions to maintain safe distancing. This system, together with sensors installed on the ground, help to reduce the need for physical deployment of our staff. As a result of these technologies, we're able to reduce the deployment of our staff by up to 2/3 of the peak numbers. We collaborated with GovTech to deploy Spot, the robot, which can perform people counting and monitor safe distancing. This robot can navigate the more challenging terrain in a park setting. In addition, we are also collaborating with a local IHL to develop a park surveillance robot which can detect the non-wearing of face masks and breaches of safe distance. On a daily basis, our contractors undertake greenery maintenance works for NParks all over Singapore. Thus, we have started to develop a contractor fleet management system which tracks the locations of our contractor vehicles. In addition, video cameras are installed on these vehicles as well as other contractor equipment to allow live monitoring of the works on the ground. In response to COVID-19, we're exploring the use of video analytics to remotely detect breaches of safe distancing by the workers. Our landscape contractors are also required to use wearables to alert workers on the spot when safe distance is breached. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the need to make our workplace safer for our workforce going forward. It has also provided the impetus to quicken the pace of digitalization to bring about this transformation. In this regard, I'll next share some of our digitalization initiatives that will transform the landscape sector. NParks is developing a digital twin for all our trees. This follows from a National Research Foundation funded project on creating 3D models of trees using LiDAR scans. Corresponding to this, a suite of initiatives are being implemented which will transform tree management in Singapore. From LiDAR scans, we have developed the algorithm to automatically extract the physical parameters of trees and create 3D models. With this, our staff will not have to be on the ground physically to measure and record these tree parameters. Time spent in the field would then be optimized to carry out other tree inspection tasks. In fact, through a combination of modeling and captured imagery, it would now be possible to carry out tree inspection virtually. Through the use of modeling, we are able to predict the structural behavior of trees under different wind conditions. This allows us to use physical interventions such as pruning to enhance the structural stability of a tree. We're also developing a remote warning system to monitor tree tilt by installing wireless tilt sensors on our trees. A warning message will be sent to our staff when there is a pronounced lean of a tree. Our staff can then go to site to investigate and take mitigating measures. Together with panoramic imageries, it will be possible to perform tree inspection virtually in the office first to sieve out the trees that require further investigation on site. Using satellite images and multispectral analysis, we'll be able to assess tree health remotely and pick up trees requiring attention. We're also employing a suite of sensors to improve situational awareness of our parks managers. These sensors will send alerts to staff and contractors to carry out maintenance of our toilets, waste bins, and lights. Data are also collected and analyzed for preventive maintenance to be carried out. You may have spotted these automatic lawn mowers in some of our gardens and parks. During the circuit breaker, these lawn mowers could continue to operate without human intervention. Remote real-time tracking of our grass cutting activities is now possible with this system, which was co-developed with GovTech. It cuts down on the need to perform site inspection by contractor supervisors and our staff. Let's watch a video of the prototype of the system. Fire risk in our parks and green spaces is something which we monitor particularly during periods of dry spells. This information is monitored on a fire risk map which is updated daily with inputs from NEA. Based on identified risk areas, targeted interventions can then be carried out. We are developing a forest fire monitoring system. This reduces the need to physically deploy a large number of staff to patrol and conduct surveillance at our nature reserves, particularly during dry spells. The system comprises cameras mounted on high points around our nature reserves. These cameras incorporate algorithms developed to detect smoke or fires and send alerts to staff upon detection. We also install video and camera traps in our nature reserves to remotely record sightings to support our surveys and studies of native biodiversity. This is a video recording of the rarely sighted Raffles banded langur. These are other sightings. The footages on the right are recorded through night vision devices. I've just provided a quick overview of some of the initiatives we are implementing to enhance productivity, reduce reliance on manual labor, and allow for remote working arrangements. COVID-19 has forced us to think about how we should structure our workforce to be more resilient and how we can make our work environment safer. To this end, we're working with IHLs and industry partners to transform the landscape sector to be future-ready in a post-COVID world. Thank you for your attention.